Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel Vigil, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel Vigil.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I thought it was Monday all freaking morning long, but it is in fact Tuesday. I hope you guys all had a wonderful MLK day. If you were here in the Mile High City, I hope you stayed warm with all the negative temps. I guess if you were really throughout the entire country, it felt like we saw extremely cold temperatures. So I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend, though. Plenty to dive into. We're going to get into Valeri Nichushkin. We're going to get into the wild card playoffs. We are going to get into the Denver Nuggets and if they are trolling Joel Embiid tonight. And yes, I do think they are. But first, let's start off with what lesson did Josh Allen teach the Denver Broncos this weekend? It's an easy one. Do not skip out on a quarterback again. It feels like Josh Allen is the name that always pops up with in the past. It's like that ex who you're like, oh, they're doing really, really well without me. And what do we missed out on? Do not skip out on a quarterback again, Denver Broncos. This is the year. You're moving on from Russell Wilson. Jarrett Stidham is not going to be the guy. Go for the quarterback in the draft. I am begging them. Please do not go for an offensive lineman. Don't go for a tackle. Don't do any of that kind of stuff. Go for your quarterback because, again, we all know that the Denver Broncos have thought that they can just pull some out of free agency, stick them here, and everything's going to work out. For years, we've been saying, hey, all they need is a quarterback. That's all they need. No. You need to build on a rookie QB, and it may take a few years unless you're lucky like the Houston Texans with CJ Stroud because holy smokes, incredible. We'll get into that. But go for the quarterback. Go for who you want. If you have to move up and trade Pat Surtain, just do it. But go find a quarterback that's going to be here for what we can hope to be the next 10 years. Okay, don't go into free agency and just start picking and pulling. No. Go for the draft. Do what you were supposed to do in 2018, like you were supposed to get Josh Allen, and do that. Because what we saw Josh Allen do this past weekend, and I've been very critical of Josh Allen, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I've been riding high on him this entire time. I've been noted to say, I don't know if he'll ever win a Super Bowl, but his 4-touchdown night, you guys, it was good. Josh Allen looked like Josh Allen. He was connecting. And what they went through in Buffalo, and huge shout out to all of those volunteers too that went out there and they were picking and shoveling snow and moving it all around. And it was so cool to watch. But please, Denver Broncos, don't try and get a free agency quarterback. Just finally draft it. Do what you were supposed to do in 2018, and you were supposed to draft Josh Allen. Do that. Do that this year. Go get a Jalen Daniels. If you really, really want to, go get a Caleb Williams. Go and get that number 1 pick. I wouldn't be too thrilled about that, but I know a lot of people are riding high on it. Just do it. Do not let another Josh Allen pass you by, as Broncos country will be watching them in the playoffs in years to come. So I do love, though, of course, let's get to this Bills game. I'm so happy that they were able to win for this reason and this reason alone. Thank goodness Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs will have to travel for a road playoff game. They will finally play somewhere else other than Arrowhead. I am so stoked about this upcoming game this weekend, you guys. I am ecstatic about it. We obviously had the 2 cold weather games. It was crazy. I actually have a good friend of mine who works for NFL Network, and he is still stuck in Buffalo right now. And I'm like, my friend, I hope you can get out of there because it is crazy. We were talking about the chilly temperatures here. Holy smokes. Let's talk about the snow that they got out there in Buffalo. It was just absolutely insane. But I'm so glad. Also, did you guys see that they weren't doing assigned seats for that game? It was the first game in NFL history that there were no assigned seats in the stadium for the Bills game. You could just sit wherever you want. You found a seat that had snow and you could were able to move it. Perfect. Sit down, enjoy the game. And I was actually really surprised by how many people made it out for the game. So huge shout out to them, again, to the volunteers too that were able to make it happen. Plenty of good stuff. Moving on to the Eagles-Buccaneers game, you guys. What we watched last night, I don't know what the heck is going on with the Eagles. And actually, I got to give credit to my dad. We're in our family group chat, and he's like, the Eagles were the buffs of this year. They were just the NFL buffs of this year, right? They started off so hot, and then what happened? Who the heck knows? Things just absolutely crumbled for them the final couple games of the season. Buccaneers obviously move on. I am so happy for Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry, if you're a football fan and you love good stories, you have to be happy for Baker Mayfield. And it's a really good example of don't ever have to worry about, your career. You may think it may be over, but you just have to find the right system to work for you. And I'm really happy for him. Obviously, how can we all forget the Thursday night game last year when he flew out to Los Angeles and was able to, lead them to a victory? How can we ever forget that game? But then when he was going down the Bucs, I was like, I don't really know if this is going to work out for him. He kind of just seems like this done quarterback. He needs to move on. Nope, he proved me wrong. Look at what he's able to do. 31-9. Jason Kelce, also of the Eagles, he's become like the number one star. I think he was in the running for sexiest man alive too, which kind of just cracks me up. America fell in love with Jason Kelce, and he has announced that he is retiring. So it breaks my heart a little bit. If you haven't seen the New Heights podcast, it's honestly so freaking good. It's with Jason and Travis Kelce, the two brothers. They're sharing so much information too on just the NFL and behind the scenes, and they honestly make me laugh all the time. It's a really good podcast. I totally recommend listening. But yeah, Jason Kelce saying, you know what? It's time to hang it up, and it breaks my heart just a little bit. The Steelers, it's at Bills, of course. We already talked just a smidge about this, but I do want to say the Mike Tomlin conversation about how he walked off the podium. You guys, that's tough. It's really tough to lose. And I can even just thinking back to this season with the Broncos after losing, having to hear from head coaches. Like, I can't imagine being asked about what the future of your job is going to look like after losing a game that you know you have to go in and win. And the weather is not really, it's not helping you. And we're going to get into that too when it comes to the Dolphins. But let's be honest, the Steelers aren't used to playing in that incredibly cold of weather, and it delayed their travel. They weren't able to be on their same routine, and those routines matter in the NFL. So it does break my heart just a little bit for the Steelers. Obviously, I really like Mike Tomlin. If they hadn't gotten Sean Payton, you guys, and Mike Tomlin would have been available last year, I kind of almost wish that they would have brought him into the Denver Broncos. That's a little bit of a hot take, but really, I have so much respect for Mike Tomlin. I'm going to be very interested to see if he ends up staying one more year or if they are moving on from him too. Lions versus Rams. Wow, this was the best game of the wild card weekend for sure. Obviously, 24-23. The Detroit Lions are America's sweetheart, and I will stand by that 100%, you guys. They have become so fun. It's because they're I think Josh Dover said this actually. They're the lovable losers. Like, they were so bad for so long. They are the lovable losers that now everybody is getting behind. They all want to see it. I'm really happy for Jared Goff being able to get that win. Obviously, with the quarterback drama with Matthew Stafford and such, I'm really happy for the Lions. One of my good friends, too, she's actually the team reporter for the Lions. So I've been able to follow through her and see all the behind the scenes, and it's been so freaking cool. But you know what the Lions have to do now? America has fallen in love with you. You have to go out there and win the Super Bowl. That's what you have to do. You have to get to Vegas, Detroit. Go do that. Become America's sweetheart and continue on that push. Plenty of other good stuff, too, obviously happening in the NFL. And then if you're a Cowboys fan, it just kind of smacks you in the head once again. Packers versus Cowboys. I was riding high on the Packers, everybody. I sat here with Richie Carni the other day talking about the Packers and the Cowboys. And I was like, no, Jordan Love's not going to be able to pull it off. I think the Cowboys are legit this year. I said that. What the heck, Dak Prescott? I'm sorry. What are we doing? And he had some good throws towards the end of the game. I get that. But you guys, I needed the Cowboys to be able to go in there and pull out a win. I think that they're going to blow everything up. I think that Jerry Jones is absolutely done with it. Mike McCarthy, you're out. I think Bill Belichick is going to go down to Dallas and be the head coach for the Cowboys. I'm calling that right now. As soon as they lost, I was like, Bill Belichick's going to go down there. I think that's going to happen. But fascinating stuff. I cannot believe the Cowboys lost that game. They were supposed to win. I actually had them riding really high throughout the playoffs, you guys. I'm huge upset right there. We actually have a new member to the Coffee Break family that I'm going to have pop on real quick because we have a new producer whose name is Joey, and he's actually got a really fun stat. So everybody in the comments, say hello to Joey. Now, Joey, hit me with this stat right now.
Yeah, since 2002, when the Texans became a team, they now have more wins than the Cowboys in that same time. The Texans have 5 wins in the playoffs since they became a team, and the Cowboys only have 4 after this weekend.
Are you freaking kidding me with that? That is absolutely insane. So leading into that, let's go into the Texans. Wow. CJ Stroud, DeMeco Ryans. If you are a Texans fan, you are absolutely thrilled with everything that is happening right now. I am honestly, I know I just said Lions, head out there, go to the Super Bowl. I would love to see the Texans win the Super Bowl. That would be crazy. A rookie QB, a first-time head coach. I think it would be so cool. And CJ Stroud honestly showed that he can do it. He had no nerves. It felt like he just went out there and played a solid football game. And it was so much fun to watch. I am rooting for them. And it does kill me just a little bit because even though people don't think that DeMeco Ryans was the Broncos, first choice after Jim Harbaugh, I'm sorry, he was. It kills me a little bit that obviously he went to the Texans. He had so many ties to it. The narrative will say, hey, he was going to go to the Texans all along, everything like that. The Broncos wanted him. Sean Payton was not their guy, and it kills me just a little bit on that front as well. So I don't know, you guys. That one just stings a little bit, but I'm also rooting so hard. Like, I really, really like CJ Stroud. I think he's incredible, and he's honestly giving me a lot of hope, too, that maybe, just maybe, the Broncos can get a rookie QB, can go draft a Jalen Daniels, can go do that, and be able to make it into the playoffs next year. The other good game, obviously, if you were able to watch it on Peacock, I was helping my parents try and figure out how to watch it, too. And I saw all of like the funny tweets and everything about like all the millennials helping their parents try and figure out streaming. I was helping my parents try and watch the game too. Dolphins at Chiefs. And I am sorry to say this, and I very, very, very rarely ever say this. The weather impacted that game 110%. And everyone's like, oh, well, the Chiefs had to be out there in the negative degree weather. You're not wrong on that sense. But here, we're used to, I've been to Kansas City many times. My fiance is from Kansas. I've been there. They're also used to getting in the teens weather. You know what doesn't happen in Miami? They hardly go below 60 degrees. So the big weather jump between the two teams was massive. And yes, it was still negative 23, like with the wind chill and everything for both teams, 100%. But you guys, the Dolphins got snubbed. I think we would have saw a lot better game out of them if they had been in a dome. And I am all for snow games, cold weather games. Don't get me wrong when I say that, but I am just saying that it definitely did impact that game. 26-7, obviously Chiefs move on and face the Bills now. The Dolphins go home. It was hard to watch, and you could just tell looking at the sidelines that all of the players were like, you know what, I really just want to go back in the locker room. I want this game to be over with. Kaylee Hartung, I thought she did such a good job, and she was the sideline reporter for that game. She did a behind the scenes of everything that she was wearing. She had like battery operated socks, a battery operated beanie, a battery operated vest. And she still went on to say it was the coldest she had ever been in her entire life, which negative 23, I can definitely feel that. But they were also talking about what they do on the sidelines for those games. And they were talking about the heaters. And I was watching that New Heights podcast, you guys, with Jason and Travis Kelce. And I was watching that and they were talking about it. And they said that those heaters can be so hot that sometimes you can sit down and it can literally burn you. Like, that's how warm it is. So you saw all of those guys huddled on the benches, obviously, but just know that those heaters really, really do work. And a lot of those guys were able to stay warm. And I was also thinking, I'm like, I wonder how warm those guys actually stay. Like, how hot is it, or how does your body just like internally adjust because you're running around and you're thinking about it and everything else? Obviously, when you're just standing there, you're cold. We saw all the players like jumping around and everything. But I'm like, when you're actually out there playing the game and you're thinking about the play that's about to happen, does your body just kind of naturally adjust? I was so curious about that because that weather was just so freaking cold. So there were plenty of good things that happened this weekend, lots of fun stuff in the NFL. But now let's talk about a little bit more of a serious topic, because this one, it's one of those things where it's really, really hard to discuss. And that is the Colorado Avalanche's forward, Valeri Nichushkin, is out indefinitely after entering the player assistance program of the NHLPA. And this, you guys, is very serious. And I always want to be very cautious when I talk about anything that comes to mental health or addiction and abuse. And it's really, really hard being in this position for me, because a part of me wants to be like, I just want him to be safe and to get better and to be able to come back. But this is the second time that this has happened. And so as a fan of the Colorado Avalanche, I'm like, I really need you to get it figured out. Like, that sounds a little harsh. And again, I say that with like all the love in the world, but the Avs are not a strong depth team. They need him to be able to go out there if they want to make a run at the playoffs. And it impacted last year's playoffs. And you guys, this time is so limited. The players we have with the Colorado Avalanche right now, it is so limited. And it hurts a little bit to sit there and be like, I want him to get so much better, but I also am thinking about this team and all the other players that are giving so much to this game. And so, yeah, I'm like, I feel so torn. And he released a statement too, and it's essentially said, I have made the decision to seek help and enter the players assistant program. My goal is to address my issues and prevent any negative outcomes once and for all. I want to thank my wife and family, my friends, the Avalanche organization, and all of our fans for their understanding and support. I will do everything I can to get back on the ice and join my teammates as soon as possible. And I love that. First of all, I'm like, this makes me really happy that one, he's going to go get help. But again, it kind of goes back to that one statement here. This one sentence right here, I think, tells us so much. My goal is to address my issues and prevent any negative outcomes once and for all. That statement right there makes me go immediately back to the playoffs last year, to last May when we were talking about Valeri Nichushkin and how he had a woman in his hotel room and how she's telling the cops that, a bad guy took her passport and she can't get back home. Immediately, my head goes there when it says once and for all. That's where my head goes to. And I love that the NHL, first of all, is so open about this. We just saw this with Sam Girard, and he was talking about his alcohol abuse and how he wanted to get better. And he came back and he had such a solid return back to the ice. And it makes you so happy that they're able to get help. Gosh, I so badly want that for Valin Nichushkin, and I want that to be fast. But I have a feeling that this is going to take some time. I think that this has been a reoccurring thing over the past couple of months. And it's hard because, again, I want him to obviously get better. That's, number one, priority number one. But man, do they absolutely need him to. And it's not like they get any help, you guys. He will be paid while he receives treatment. And then once he gets cleared, he can obviously come back. But the Avs don't get any sort of financial assistance if he's not there in the long term. Like, they get financial assistance if Gabe Landeskog isn't out there. They get some money to be able to bring in somebody to hopefully help them. And the NHL trade deadline is coming up very, very soon. So they don't get that if Valin Nichushkin's not out there. So that one hurts. He's had 42 points, 22 goals, 20 assists so far this season. He's fourth on the team in points, only trailing Nathan MacKinnon. Goodness gracious, Nathan MacKinnon, you deserve the Hart Trophy this year. Cale Makar obviously had a good year. Mikko Rantanen has been on and off. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, but the 22 goals has tied him with Rantanen, and he's just one behind Nathan MacKinnon. You need Valeri Nichushkin out there. Like, that's just something that it has to happen for them to be able to go back and make a run in the playoffs and be able to do it time and time again. So priority number one, allow Val to get help. But man, do they really need him. And I'm curious how you all are feeling in the comments. So please let me know. Because again, it's kind of this sticky situation where you feel guilty being like, I'm trying to think of the team, but think about all of these other players too who put so much out on the ice every single day. And I just go back to last May and how I just will never forget it, you guys. And I'm sure a lot of you do, when we heard about this situation and we're all like, okay, well, now let's put all the pieces together. Okay, well, we know that he was in his hotel room. We know that he didn't go to morning skate. We know that there was a woman there. Like, there were all of these pieces that we were trying to tie together. And for so many of us, it was like we were missing so many. So we got angry. At least this time, even though he missed the last game and they said, oh, he was dealing with an illness, at least this time they gave us answers. That's one of the things I need to give credit to the Avalanche for, is we have answers now. We know he's going into the assistance program. We're not trying to piece together, oh, where is Valeri Nichushkin? What's going on with him? Is he going to Russia, or where is he going to be? No. He's going to the assistance program. We have answers this time, and thank goodness we do, because that was probably the most frustrating part about the playoffs last year, is we didn't have answers, and we just got told it's a personal issue. It's a personal issue. And Jared Bednar got asked like 9 times in a row by the media about Valeri Nichushkin last year during the playoffs, and he just had to say, it's personal. It's personal. It's personal. There were no answers. And then how can we forget at training camp too with Nichushkin? And he said, I just want to move on. I want to look ahead to this season. Okay, well, now you're in the assistance program. We can hope you can get help, and we look forward to hopefully having you return back in time for the Avs to continue to make a run in the playoffs. That's all that they want here in Colorado, would be another Stanley Cup. Could you imagine? This place would absolutely go bonkers. And you guys, this isn't going to be an easy stretch for the Colorado Avalanche. They're currently 28-12-3 on the season. They're good for 59 points, and they are tied for second in the Central Division. It's tough. It's going to be a tough grind. They are not going to be this dominating team that they were when they won the cup. And I feel like because there's so many similar pieces here and there that everyone's waiting for it. And they're like, okay, what's going to happen now? Can they be able to do this? No. We learned last year that you have to have the right pieces to be able to move forward and continue. So hopefully they can make a run for the top seed in the Western Conference, but you obviously don't know. And losing Nichushkin hurts. But hey, I guess you would rather lose him now then later on in the season towards the playoffs too. Let's talk a little bit about the Denver Nuggets, you guys, because holy smokes. Well, first of all, let's talk about Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown returned to Denver and he was able to get his championship ring. Here's my favorite thing about Bruce Brown. First of all, he absolutely goes for the incredible cowboy Bruce Brown. He wears his cowboy hat coming back into Ball Arena. You love to see it. He comes to Denver, though, and you know what he does? He does what I did on Tuesday night. He went to the freaking stock show, which, first of all, always so much fun. If you've never been, 100% recommend going. It's always so much fun. So he comes into Denver, goes to the stock show, shows up to Ball Arena with his cowboy hat because cowboy Bruce Brown returns, and he gets his championship ring. I love it. He said, it's huge and it's sparkly, which I just think is like the most basic way to describe a championship ring. It's huge and it's sparkly. 100% yes. I agree with you on that one, Bruce Brown. Michael Malone saying that they miss him dearly, and they do. They're obviously, the Nuggets been playing with this rotation now for quite some time and trying to figure out who can fill in and be the next Bruce Brown. They've got some really good pieces, but I feel like nobody's kind of fit that need that they have. And Bruce Brown also saying that the Nuggets are still the best team in the NBA with Jokic and Jamal. So it was really cool to be able to see him. He had this huge smile on his face when he got his ring. I love the picture. I wish I could share it with you, but it is this picture of him and KCP, and they look so freaking good, just smiling and truly enjoying the moment. I think that's one of the cool things about for the players that leave the Denver Nuggets is every single time that they, come back to get their ring, the current Nuggets, people who are still on the roster get to kind of enjoy that moment all over again. They get to feel that excitement all over again. And so I feel like it just is another little reminder of hey, let's do this again, because it's been definitely so much fun. Now, also, if you did not pay attention to the Denver Nuggets yesterday, what's the longest amount of time that you've ever been stuck on a tarmac? I can say that the longest amount of time I've ever been stuck on a tarmac on a plane was an hour and a half, and that was frustrating in itself. You're like, why aren't we moving? All I want to do is be able to go to the bathroom in the airport, get off this plane, stretch my legs, and I'm only 5'4", and I want to stretch my legs. The Denver Nuggets were stuck on the tarmac yesterday, right outside of DIA at Signature Airport, for 5.5 hours. They were stuck on the tarmac. You guys, some of those people are 6'8". I don't even know how the tallest person on the team is. I can't imagine being stuck on that plane. And of course, they get all the food and everything. So there are some perks to being on a private plane. But still, nobody wants to be stuck on a freaking tarmac for 5.5 hours. They were supposed to leave at noon yesterday, didn't end up taking off until 5:30. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is just such a drag. Now, are they trolling Joel Embiid? In case you did not know, they are playing the 76ers tonight, and it's going to be a good game, and they are obviously doing it against the best player in the world, who I feel like if you're a Denver Nuggets fan or a Nikola Jokic fan, you take a little bit of offense to this. They're saying that the best player in the world, Joel Embiid, is going to be playing against the best team, which is the Denver Nuggets. Now, again, I'm okay, let's halt on the best player in the world because he belongs on the Denver Nuggets team. Let's just get that straight right there. But he is going to be hopefully playing Joel Embiid. You never really know. He seems to be very good at dodging the Nuggets or Nikola Jokic any single time that they're able to play. So we'll see if he plays, but they are definitely trolling them. You guys, are you ready for this? I think it's so funny. Here's the injury report for the Denver Nuggets heading into tonight's matchup against the 76ers. They put this out yesterday. So first of all, this is starting five: KCP, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. Literally I don't even know what is I don't even know. Cervical thread. I don't even know. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, you guys, because I feel like this is just something where they're like, okay, let's find the most ridiculous thing that we can possibly see and try and make that right. Right heel strain for Aaron Gordon, left hip strain, bilateral tibia inflammation, left knee inflammation. They are trolling the 76ers because, of course, every single time that the Nuggets are playing the 76ers, they have something with Joel Embiid, and I think it is absolutely hilarious, and I love that the Nuggets are doing it. Seriously, if you want to know the last or how many times Joel Embiid has actually played the Denver Nuggets since being drafted in 2014, just take a guess. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to try and do this. He has found a way to dodge Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets all but 2 times since being drafted in 2014. That is just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm hoping he's going to play. And actually, we're going to do just a quick check right now to make see, is he going to play tonight? I feel like after what happened last year and how the public just absolutely destroyed him, there's no way he cannot play. but nothing has come out. So I think he's going to play tonight, you guys. And I think also he had a quote coming out, and that's going around because everyone was talking about, of course. And he's like, well, I can't control if I get the flu or if my left hamstring is injured or whatever. I'm like, okay, let me roll my eyes at you just a little bit, Joel Embiid. Whatever, play the game tonight. Let's have a really good TNT matchup between the Denver Nuggets and the 76ers, and let's see the two best players in the league go head to head in Jokic and Embiid, and let's not dodge this anymore. Let's see what can actually happen. So I'm excited for tonight's game. I think it's going to be a really good one. Nuggets, obviously, I think they're on a 5-game road trip, so they're going to have lots of time spent on the East Coast. Plenty of good stuff. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, though. Again, I love hanging out with you guys every single day. And I know I've been teasing plenty of good, exciting things to come here on Coffee Break. And I promise you, I will give you more information later this week on it. So make sure you keep coming back. Let me know how you're feeling about the Val thing. Tweet at me at Hey Rachel Vigil. If you're watching us on YouTube, then please, please, please make sure you subscribe, comment, and like this video. That way we can get out to more Denver Nuggets fans, Colorado Avalanche fans, Denver Broncos fans. I know you guys love talking football. I love talking football too, but I hope that you guys find some, I don't know, entertainment's not the word, but some educational content too when we obviously are talking about the Avalanche or the Nuggets. Again, I know it's so Bronco heavy and I want to be able to talk about that, but also we have two of the most amazing teams here in Denver right now that I never, ever want to say, oh, we didn't talk about this. We didn't talk about this. We're so lucky with what we have right now. We're obviously wishing Val a ton of success in the assistance program too. And to all of you guys, I love hanging out with you every single day. Thank you so much. We'll be back 10:30 tomorrow morning. Again, I promise good news is coming later this week. So please come hang with us. We'll see you guys then. Bye, everybody.